Anakin betrays the Jedi Order.
I have brought peace, freedom, and security to my new empire.
Yeah, his new empire.
Your new empire to democracy.
uh,
I will
Kevin,
do what I must.
I'm very happy to have you join me for this. I want to not want to get back into reading comics. I do read comics, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to be more consistent in reading things. Doesn't have to be a lot. Just I want to be able to at the end of the week go like, oh, I may have read like 2 or 3 things, and
Fair
then just like
enough.
chat about it for a little bit because I know every week, at the very least, I read one piece at the end of every week. So there's
I'm
that.
sure you do.
I this this past weekend I was getting ready to go to work and I was
Uh-huh.
about to leave and I realized the new chapter had released and I was like,
Oh
I can
boy.
get to work today. And I sat down on the couch and I read through it and I was like, I made the right decision. And then I
Oh
went to
my
work.
God. How late were you?
Um it was like maybe 13 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It was like
Fair
4
enough.
40 something, 4:44,
Hmm.
4:43. But yeah,
I see.
I have you read anything? I think you said that you hadn't read anything, but you watched anything.
This this last week I haven't really read much of anything. I need to catch up on the absolute stuff coming out on DC Universe. But yeah, I have been watching stuff. I'm caught up on Daredevil, which excellent by the way. I might do my own separate little recap here where I get into spoiler talks because I know you're not caught up on the things I am caught up on.
I'd love to
Amazing
hear it.
or Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man season one
Also very
really
good.
surprised me.
Mm,
It was very, very solid. I would say it's teetering between good and very good,
okay.
but I was not expecting much, so that is much better than what I was expecting. Rewatched The Witcher because
How many
why
seasons
not?
of it? All of it?
Three,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
all of it. And I am starting an old Daredevil rewatch. I've watched episode one, and episode one holds up. We'll see how the rest of it does.
I think I think all of the Daredevil holds up.
So do I, but
I
we
watched
shall
the first
see.
season sometime last year, and I was like, wow, this is
Yeah.
so good.
Either way, though that's what I've been up to. Those have been very good. And as you know, Mr. Burkett, we have been watching One Piece. This has been a rewatch for you, a first time watch for me. We just got through episode 400, Sabaody. We just finished that arc. And I'm a little shook, not going to lie still, but the truth will prevail, or something like that. Some deep quote.
They yanked on his mushroom.
They did in fact do that, which if you're listening and thinking, what could that possibly mean? It means exactly what you think it means. Sometimes they just be doing stuff in this show.
That's correct. Consistently, sometimes they're just doing stuff.
But yes, Daredevil episode 5 drops tomorrow night. That's kind of dating this, but either
That's
way,
fine. It shouldn't
tomorrow
take.
night, I'm so hyped for it. It's so good. It's captured the soul, the essence of the original Netflix show.
I'll probably catch up with it tomorrow because Chloe's days off have switched from Tuesday to Wednesdays, so I will
The
be alone
essence,
tomorrow.
Shad, the essence.
I'm the essence. I realized the essence was still there as soon as the episode I stopped on was whenever he beat up those guys in the apartment, and he was like,
Mhm.
"Please don't do this," and then they went to kill
And
him.
then they did it.
Yes. Yeah. Gosh, you watched all that last week?
Well, no, but since the last time we've talked,
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
I I didn't really watch much of anything last week. I have been busy with school.
I thought so because I was like, you watched 3 seasons of Witcher
Yes,
last week.
this was just an overview. Like I said, I think I'm gonna do a little spoiler,
Yeah.
separate, a little more in-depth dive a little bit later. But just an
All right.
overview of what I've been up to in my nerd world. What has your nerd world been, Shad?
Yesterday, Will and I watched Captain America: First Avenger. We did a little recording of that. That'll come out to be determined. I think Will actually had a very good idea. He said if you and Adam can like over video call start watching some of the live action DC movies
Oh
and then talk about
no.
like start Man of Steel, talk about Man of Steel, and then go from there. He said that'd be pretty fun for
Adam's going to shoot me.
well,
We
better
have
you
some
than me, I
very
guess.
differing opinions with the DC live action
Yeah,
movies.
it'll be. I think it'll be funny.
Oh, Adam is going to give me so many dirty looks. I
Yeah.
can feel them through the screen already.
But yeah, we watched Captain America. I've read this week, One Piece. Everything's going. I'm actually gonna talk with one of my friends about it
They
because he
found
made me like ten.
the One Piece. It was friendship.
No, Luffy released a war criminal, and everything's going to SHIT.
Luffy is a
Ragnarok,
war criminal.
and he released another war criminal.
Congrats.
They're starting Ragnarok for all that understand.
Oh, Loki.
Yeah. That guy.
Got it.
So I read that this week. I was gonna read Kagurabachi. It's like a
Sure.
modern kind of samurai manga. It's really cool, but he's on a break this week, so I was like, dang it. And that's all the manga I read. For comics I read this week, I read it's the Green Lantern Corps
Shocker.
for All
Green
In.
Lantern. Yes.
Yeah, it
I
was
think I read the first issue of that whenever it dropped like 2 weeks ago or
Yeah, I
something.
think it did drop 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was just the first issue I read. It was pretty
Yeah.
cool. It mainly followed John Stewart. He was
hmm
rising up Blackfire. I was like, go off, John Stewart.
Oh, we read
Uh,
something else then. I don't know what I read, but it was not that. Blackfire was not there.
he had to go to Tamarin to. I don't know what has happened.
I think I read issue 0 of that.
Ah, I didn't know there was an issue zero then.
That either some issue 0 or like a prologue or something. No. It was Green Lantern Corps Shattered Spectrum. That's what it was. Which I
What's
have
that?
no clue what that means or what was going on, frankly. It's the follow-up of something and it's leading into whatever the Shattered Spectrum is. I didn't learn.
Maybe it has to do with the Green Lantern Corps that I read because whatever happened, the Owens aren't around anymore, and the Green
Mm.
Lanterns are the ones giving out Green Lantern rings now. And I was
Mm.
like, that's interesting. And Jessica Cruz basically headlines the entire Corps right now. And she
Ooh.
like, I think it's really smart. Unfortunately, it does bench Jessica Cruz, but she's the one that chooses people to go on missions.
I've never
And
liked her character.
well, I think she's cool. I think she's fine. I never liked
Mhm.
Simon Baz, but
I like him more than Jessica Cruz.
I like Jessica Cruz more than Simon Baz. But irrelevant. Sinestro is a lantern, and I was like,
Again,
that's really cool. And
that's
they keep
their
it around.
favorite trick to pull.
It's great because he was interacting with Hal was the one that said keep him around, and I was like, oh wow.
Oh,
And John Stewart said you need to prove your like, can you prove yourself that you were once the greatest Green Lantern? And he went and defused the situation like very effortlessly. I was like, this is crazy,
I
but
wish he was good.
I also wish he was good. He's effective at what he does, and I was like, oh wow.
You're absolutely right. I don't think anyone's ever questioned his efficacy.
But I read that. That was pretty cool. I saw like Guy Gardner was in the background. I was like, that's funny, and some of the other guys are in the background. Hal Jordan did not show up in that book, and I was like, interesting. But
Huh.
I think he has his own book. He probably has his own book.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I've been reading Monkey Prince because you're reading Monkey Prince. So
It was a crossover. I was not reading it. It was one of the crossovers for Lazarus
Lazarus Planet.
Planet. Yeah, Monkey Prince number 9. So it showed up in my continue reading, but I only read issue 9. Monkey Prince is based off Sun Wukong.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's inherited his powers or something. He's kind of a jokester. I do kind of like it. I was interested in going back and reading it, but I have yet to get round to it.
I was 100% the same way. I own all of Lazarus Planet in like physical form, and I have Monkey Prince because of that. I have Monkey Prince, I guess, is number 9,
hmm
and like I got it. I was like, "Who is this guy?" He shows up in Lazarus Planet. I'm like, "Who are you?" But him
Yeah.
and Damien have like a repertoire already. I was like, "All right."
That was from the Lazarus Island tournament
Mm-hmm.
fight thing, I think.
Yep,
Didn't read that.
I've been enjoying it. I think he's a fun character. Also, he goes to the same high school as Damien, and I was like, "That's kind of fun."
Of
And
course.
his parents work for the Penguin, Monkey Prince's parents work for the Penguin. I
Crazy.
was like, that's interesting too, but it's fun. His power set's really cool, and I assume he's probably either never gonna be seen again, or only be seen in the background of large events as
He
they
seems
do.
interesting.
But he's fun around. And I read one other thing. I don't think I don't remember. I read something else, but it'll come back to me later. But Olin came back the other day and he got me this boy, which I will
You
be
showed me that.
I will be reading this week because he whenever he goes out he finds team up books and he brings them to me. There's DC team up books. Like the last one he
Okay.
got me was the first Superman Flash run race, and I was like, that's really cool.
Uh,
And I have that over there somewhere.
Justice League
Yeah,
did a version of that. One of my favorite episodes.
that's yes, they did. That's true. I believe that's all I read this week. I read the first two chapters of The Last Olympian and got really sad. I don't want to talk about that
Why?
because Speckendorf dies.
Because Beckendorf dies.
They
Uh,
they thought they could beat up Luke, and Luke's like, I'm already at my final form. Wham! And I was like, oh no. Yeah, yeah, literally.
you want front hand or backhand?
Oh
Slight correction to my earlier statement. Green
my
Lantern
god.
fractured spectrum, not shattered spectrum. It is following the events of the Civil War, which I have no clue what that is, but
I don't know what
apparently
it is either.
some bad things happened, and I
You said
think that's
Civil
why the
War?
Guardians weren't there.
You said Civil Core?
Civil War.
Interesting.
It was referenced in the book. I don't know what it means.
Okay. That's cool. That's something I do enjoy about comics. Like people are like, I'm so confused, but since I have DC Universe, I have the luxury of going, oh, I could probably find that though.
I could have, but I have not.
But I did not. I remember the other thing I read. I read New World.
Oh yeah, yeah, you
I've been
were
enjoying New
telling
Gods.
me.
I like the art. I like how really out there it is. And after reading Tom King's Mr. Miracle, I'm down for anything Mr. Miracle.
So good.
But yeah, that's it. I didn't read this past week, but I've been reading. I've been reading Rebirth Wonder Woman, and
Ooh.
I just wanted to read some Wonder Woman, and I was going to start with New 52, but I was like, New 52 is the most different Wonder Woman, and I wanted to read a more traditional Wonder Woman, but I didn't want to go to like issue 0.
I got you. I've
Yeah,
been reading through Batman, the Rebirth run, I guess. So through Tom King, I'm on James Tinian. I
yeah,
think
James
that's
Tynion the fourth.
his name. Yes. I'm finishing his up. I'm getting close to the start of the Zdarsky run.
I
I
really
think I
like
just
the art.
finished Joker War.
Isn't Punchline introducing that? Or
Yeah, it was. It's like the interlude between Joker War and whatever the next thing is. It's whenever Ghostmaker's here, and they're just and Bruce is like, "I have a friend now."
yeah,
He's like, "But I also don't have money, and Alfred's dead. But I have a friend." Catwoman's somewhere,
doing Catwoman stuff, I guess.
I guess. That's been fun. Like I said, I've told this to you, but I'm really loving the Absolute series.
Absolutely, yeah, it has been fun. I've read not the most recent Superman, I think just came
Mhm.
out, and Batman, but I've been trying to keep up with it. Besides that,
No, I'm trying to get through Planet slowly but surely because I'm trying to get to Absolute Power.
mm,
And so I'm reading all the background to Absolute Power. So I started with Dark Crisis and read that. A lot of stuff happened. He asked me to retell it. I could tell you parts of it.
freaking not Parallax, the other P dude, Pariah. Pariah comes back.
Pariah. Yeah, he just kind of caused a crisis with his mind.
Pariah's like, I'm back and I'm still crazy. I was like, Pariah, please.
Pariah, no, down boy.
Pariah, yes.
Pariah, yes. Somehow controlled Darkseid for a little bit. That was crazy.
Dick Grayson becomes the like savior.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot happens.
comics be comicking.
Anything else you think?
Not that I can think of. I recently bought Death of Superman just because the cover's cool.
I have the Death of Superman.
It was at one of my like local stores for like $2. It's not in great shape, but I was like, hey, it's $2, and I can say I own one of the most iconic covers of all time.
I want to see what
Let me.
mine's on my
Oh,
bookshelf.
mine's also on my bookshelf. We will be
Hell
back,
yeah.
people. I have found mine quicker. I win.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I got it.
This is just issue 2.
I've got all of them, baby.
But yeah, but this is like
Damn.
one of the most iconic covers of all time.
I also have the Return of Superman. I haven't actually read the Return of Superman, but I read the Death of Superman, and I kind of wanted to read like the Reign of Superman as well. So I also brought
Yes,
Jessica Cruz because I like Jessica Cruz.
I don't. Funeral for a Friend, which is an Elton John song.
Whoa, I like the back. That's cool.
World Without a Superman, and then all of the issues you need to read.
I believe
1993.
that's the 1990 what?
1993. Back
Woo!
in the good old days.
Well, I think that's it. I really just wanted to see if you
Yeah,
read anything. I'd read anything. Hopefully, we could do this like either every week or every other week.
yeah.
Just it doesn't
I
have to be
should
a
have
very
more
long
next
thing.
week.
Okay, and we'll talk about it later. Thank you for attending this, Kevin. I'll see you later. Yeah.
Peace.
Bam.
Bam. Superhero dab.